It ain't written in stone.
Okay. What are you doing for your birthday, Wendell?
I'm 74 years old, man. What do you think I'm going to do?
I don't know. Walk around the block.
74 today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do that.
Okay.
I do that every day.
All right, brother. Appreciate you
know.
calling in, man.
All right. You guys
All
have a good show.
No doubt. Appreciate that. Not worried about gambling on the Dodgers. You know why? Because I don't gamble. You know why I don't gamble? I like money too much. You can watch Clinton and Friends on ESPN Plus. Just head to the new ESPN app, click on Watch, look for Clinton and Friends, and enjoy. Let's go to the watering hole.
Time to check my social media.
The dulcet tones of Dustin Akui and the Circle of Life. Quite literally the Circle of Life today. The point where we reflect and look back on the day and what we have learned. Alex Beelan says, do you believe MLB is doomed for next year? It's not necessarily that I think the league is doomed. I just feel that if the leadership of the PA has to jump ship right before the season, catching everybody off guard when there's a labor dispute at play, TV contracts are a huge deal with regarding the future of the game. And in addition, there's an investigation into what is effectively foul play. There's just no world in which that adds up to a good situation to me for the game. Not a single one. Doesn't help that I happen to know Tony reasonably well. And I guess there is a feeling of a little bit of personal disappointment. I don't know what this guy may or may not have done. I don't want to pass judgment on his choices. But if he's got to walk away from that job as the first former player to ever do it, that's just a blow. It's a blow to their leverage. It's a blow to morale. And I think it's a blow for baseball fans. Don Jenver says, Wemby is very quickly climbing the ranks of guys I think when I think of high IQ players. But my favorite thing about him is how clearly he wants the best for the game of basketball. He loves it so much, the league couldn't be in better hands. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe you get from him. The good kid. He does his homework. He goes to class. He eats his vegetables. This used to be how I felt about the Spurs in general all the time. The Spurs were like that team that your parents compared you to make sure that you knew you weren't doing it right. Ooh, the Spurs cut the lawn. The Spurs aced the test. The Spurs can go and play. Wemby's like all of that in one. And it's great. Fantastic young man. Henry Bunch of Numbers says, it's okay to say you think handsome is being handsome is a skill. That's what you wanted to say about Wembanyama. It wasn't really. But you're talking about somebody that literally refers to themselves as the president of the local chapter of the Handsome Man community. I am not afraid to call a man handsome. Wemby is just so beyond that. Simmering him down to his looks would be taken away from who he is. Tremaine Hutchie says, Robert Duvall in colors, old bull and young bull philosophy. Jack says, also love Robert as Harry in Days of Thunder. Great show today. Thank you. Robert Duvall, great American actor past. Jesse Jackson, a force of an American individual past as well. Quite literally, the circle of life at this point is closed. Devin, what is in the calf?
We're going full Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday today with the calf options. We absolutely are. We got a beef po' boy, which sounds pretty good. We got a Creole marinated tomato salad. The pasta station remains on Tuesday.
Okay.
A root vegetable bisque, and then a chicken and andouille sausage gumbo.
Andouille, you know how to pronounce that word.
Isn't there like a better Cajun, like a more Cajun way to say it?
Andouille. I mean, you know, Cajun. I don't imitate Cajun voices. They are the most unique, probably excellent accents we have. Back when we used to do regional accent of the week, that was the thing. Mardi Gras Bob doesn't quite have it. His is a little bit more nationalized, if you will. Richard, what are you eating on that menu?
Maybe the po' boy.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Okay. Beef po' boy is not for me. I'm a shrimp po' boy kind of guy.
Okay.
So I hope everybody down there in New Orleans is having a good time and staying safe. The Rich Eisen Show is next. Look, life comes at you fast. Things happen and you got to shift and you got to find ways to adjust. And I just really want to appreciate the fact that, again, Robert Duvall and Jesse Jackson, two interesting characters to find themselves ending in the same news cycle. Go check out their work. You will be better for it. Oh, man. I'll see you all in America, kiddos. It's Clinton and Friends on ECU.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with their award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
If you missed Pirate Radio Live, you missed
former Pirate Trey Benton. What are some of your favorite memories here and pitching at Clark LeClaire Stadium?
Well, I'd say my favorite memory was when I started against Carolina at home my sophomore year. It's probably the best game of my life. You know, I went out there and I felt like I couldn't miss a spot that night, and it was packed. And they were number 6 in the country, and we weren't ranked yet. I went out there and put on a good show, and it was a tight one, but pulled it out. For me, that was my best moment, I think.
Pirate Radio Live, weekdays from 3 to 6, exclusively on Pirate Radio, Pirate Radio TV on YouTube, and on the Pirate Radio app.
Homeowners can face many challenges throughout this season, but our newest New Blue star, Dixon Williams, is here to slide in and save the day. Have a clog that's hitting a foul ball and nothing seems to be getting through? Dixon's fixing to get you flowing again. Feeling like your HVAC's in a slump? Dixon's sliding in to get your comfort back on track. Are swinging blind in a power outage? Dixon's delivering a power boost. So when problems arise, turn home strikeouts into home runs with New Blue, electric, plumbing, and air.
Michaels & Gateway Cosmetic and Family Dentistry has been Greenville's premier dental practice for over 40 years. I am Dr. Chris Gateway, and our mission at Michaels & Gateway is to provide exceptional dental care with compassion, integrity, and innovation, ensuring every patient leaves with a healthy, confident smile. Doctors Michaels & Gateway are committed to providing an outstanding patient experience with every visit. Not only do we offer all your dental needs under one roof, in most cases, we can take care of those needs on the same day. Bring your smile to us at Michaels & Gateway Cosmetic and Family Dentistry.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers. Join us today for
big, juicy wings.
All season long at Tiebreakers.
Tiebreakers, with 2 locations in Greenville and on Railroad Street in Winterville.
Doug Henry of Greenville is your premier used car dealership with over 300 vehicles to choose from and brand new inventory arriving daily to take care of all your needs. Doug Henry offers the best selection of used cars around, and it's easy to find right on the corner of Greenwood Boulevard and Memorial Drive. You can also find them at DougHenryofGreenville.com. Right on the corner and always right on the price. Doug Henry of Greenville.
Imagine the fun, boating and fishing with your family. Come find the boat of your dreams at the Greenville Boat Show and Sale this weekend at the Greenville Convention Center. Free parking, free admission for kids under 12. Hundreds of boats on display along with all your local dealers. It's more than a boat show, it's a boat sale. Imagine the fun, boating and fishing with your family. Come find the boat of your dreams at the Greenville Boat Show and Sale this weekend at the Greenville Convention Center. Free parking, free admission for kids under 12. Hundreds of boats on display along with all your local dealers. It's more than a boat show, it's a boat sale.
College is hectic, but where you live shouldn't be. At Pirates Cove, you get your own quiet space and private bathroom. With 2 pools, a fitness center, EV chargers, the only student property with a new soccer mini pitch field, a business room for focus, and a quick ride to campus. No dorms, no drama, just the lifestyle you're looking for. Pirates Cove isn't just where you stay, it's where you live.
North Carolina State Parks invites you to enjoy camping your way. With the weather changing, booking your own cabin is the perfect solution for your camping getaway. Reserve campsites or cabins today at Jones Lake, Goose Creek, and Cliffs of the Neuse. Whether you enjoy traditional camping or air-conditioned cabins that can be rented with Wi-Fi, your next adventure can include hiking, beautiful scenery, and sunsets by the campfire. For information on booking a cabin, visit ncparks.gov.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bojangles, Bostic Sugg, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, DriveHereNow.com, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome into our show as we get set to talk baseball. Finally, it's baseball season. East Carolina dropped 2 out of 3 to the Musketeers of Xavier over the weekend. We're going to talk with Cliff Godwin in his 12th year as the Pirate head coach. Tonight, the Pirates take on the Camels of Campbell. So we'll see how that goes coming up, because Campbell has won 5 in a row against East Carolina. We'll also talk Campbell sports with Chris Hemeyer in the second half hour of our show. He's the Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs. He handles the football play-by-play, the basketball play-by-play, works with baseball as well. So he knows anything and everything Campbell related as we get you set for today's 5 o'clock start between the Pirates and the Camels. It is always a tough trip for East Carolina baseball to head down to Bowie's Creek. We'll talk with Cliff Godwin about that when our show continues right after this.
You know PIP Printing for custom printing and marketing, but do you know they also do custom apparel? Need a company store for your employees, team, or just to sell your custom apparel online? PIP has the team in place to get that up and running for you in no time. Come into our store at 3185 Mosley Drive in Greenville and check out the clearance sale on jackets and coats. Brands by Cutter & Buck, Gildan, and Carhartt with some items as low as $10. At PIP, we do a lot more than you think. Call or come out to see the We Do people at PIP Printing.
Enjoy the warm air circulating moments after you turn up the heat. Precise control of cooking temperatures. Enough hot water on demand for everyone's shower. The instant glow of warmth when you turn on your fireplace or fire pit. Never having to change a gas tank on your outdoor grill. Experience the affordable luxury of natural gas. Find out more at GUC.com.
It's bow time. We know there's a lot of breakfast sandwiches out there, but only Bojangles has the legendary Cajun Filet Biscuit. Shake things up with a boldly seasoned chicken breast on a fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit with bow rounds and your choice of drink. So when you're craving something bold, something different, something that takes breakfast to a whole new level, the Cajun Filet Biscuit is waiting for you, along with crispy bow rounds and a drink. Order in the app or at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
It's Bostic Sugg Furniture's Lazy Boy Market Sample Sell-Off. We bought out an entire showroom of 100 one-of-a-kind pieces of Lazy Boy furniture. Now we're selling it all at drastically reduced prices. Floor samples slashed an additional 50 to 70% off. This is a one-time opportunity to shop extreme sell-off prices on brand new Lazy Boy styles, recliners, power recliners, sectionals, and leather furniture, designer chairs, cocktail ottomans, and much more. Hurry! You will never, ever find Lazy Boy furniture at such low prices again at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft and Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Bond. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
This is Bruce Bivens, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. As promised, Cliff Godwin, head baseball coach at East Carolina, starting his 12th season as the Pirate coach, and the Pirates go 2 out of 3, falling to Xavier over the weekend. You had Sunday to think about everything, Coach, and kind of look at the stats, that kind of thing. What are your thoughts?
You know, when you look back on it, number one, it's not the end of the world. There were a lot of positives that you can take out of it, and some things that, you know, we need to shore up for sure. I thought, really, in my opinion, the difference in Game 3 versus 1 and 2 is we played really good defense in Game 3, and I thought Nick Parham played an outstanding shortstop. And people are probably like, well, why didn't you just run him out at shortstop to start with? Well, Parham's coming back from Tommy John brace. It's the brace one, which you can come back quicker on. But, you know, his arm's still not full strength, but, man, he played a tremendous shortstop in Game 3, and I thought it just solidified our defense and, you know, put Colby back on third base, which he's the best defensive third baseman we've ever coached, and Burris back in the outfield. And Colby Weber was tremendous, but if you don't play good defense behind him, then who knows how it goes. And I thought we swung the bats better in Game 3 for sure.
You know, I was thinking about it over the weekend as well. And you know, during the season, you're going to have a series where you don't play particularly well. It just so happens it's the first one, and I think that's where everybody hits the panic button.
Well, and I'm not on social media, and I don't really give a crap what everybody else says. Is we've told this team from day one, it's all about us and these people that are in these trailers. And the only people's opinion that matters is the people that are in it every day. And I don't mean that ugly. That's just the reality of it. And we're going to play better. We have really, really talented players, and we have really, really good human beings. So, as I told Sean Jenkins and Joe Webb in the locker room yesterday, I said, you guys are either going to make me look like I'm the smartest guy on the planet or I'm the biggest idiot that's ever. I said, because I've told everybody that when things don't go right, I know that locker room's going to make sure it gets right because of the leaders that we have in there. And I don't worry about what the end looks like because I know that those guys are going to make sure we continue to get better every day.
When you look at Game 1 and all the just the atmosphere, Pirate baseball is very important to everybody around here, and everybody's fired up to go to the ballpark. And I know you were disappointed just because it was the opening game, but when you look at that game, there was so many weird things as far as, Norby didn't pitch all that well. He didn't look anything like he usually looks. 3 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. All the damage really was in that first inning, and you kind of got slapped in the face early.
Yeah, I thought definitely for, and really every year now with just having new players on your roster. I mean, look, at best, you're probably going to be 50-50 with the way college athletics is set up, and we're about 50% returners, 50% new guys, with some freshmen in there. But with Norby not being sharp early, I thought it put us on our heels. And then us not playing good defense, man, we're supposed to be better than this. And then you got the fans that feel that way too. And I thought our guys competed. It wasn't an effort thing. I didn't think it was an effort thing at any point in time this weekend. But I was excited to see, number one, Colby Weber going out into a very difficult situation as a freshman. I'm sure he didn't think he was going to have the ball when we were 0-2 to start the season, and go out there and, to be honest with you, look special. And Grady Linehan played great. Another freshman, and Bachman had a good day, even though the box score says he was 0-3 with an RBI. I mean, he barreled 4 balls in Game 3. So, we're going to continue to get better, and we're trying to play our best brand of baseball at the end of the season, not at the beginning.
You look at the positives in Game 1, even though it's a 4-3 loss. Sean Jenkins came in, and I thought he really looked good.
Sean was awesome, for sure, and he has worked his tail off with Coach Knight and just Jake Agnos being around and, talking about the mental side of things and different things about pitching. And Sean was thrown into the fire last year on a bad team, man, and I look back on it and was like, I'm sure he was like, man, they keep running me out here and I'm not pitching good at times, and we had nobody else to pitch. There was probably a blessing and a curse in his head, but he stayed back this summer, worked on his body movement, worked on some of his pitch design stuff, and he's really showing the best version of himself when he's coming out of the pen because he doesn't overthink it. And the other thing I told him yesterday was that Joe Webb has been the best thing that's ever happened to Sean Jenkins, because Joe just rides him all the time and tells him he's soft, and so that's a very good match for those guys. And Joe wasn't sharp on Friday, and people haven't seen unless you've been to the preseason, but Joe is going to be one of the best relievers in the country this year, and I have a lot of confidence in him.
That was my next question about Joe Webb. It was our first time to see him, but you can see that he's got some magical things with him, but he just didn't have his command, did he?
He tried to do, when you see him doing stuff he's trying to do too much, is I grabbed him on Saturday and said, hey man, like, you were out there way too overamped and you're spiking stuff, and he just doesn't normally do that. I mean, he's like I feel like a 40-year-old veteran out there. He's calling his own game, out there on the mound. So he's got the pitch com on his belt like you see some of the big league pitchers, and he's calling his own game. I don't know how many pitchers in college baseball are doing that.
The big stat in Game 1 was the 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. And as a coach, especially a guy like you that hit the baseball in college and went through that whole team with all the hitters on that squad, that had to be really frustrating.
It's probably more frustrating for the fans. I mean, look, Coach Gautreau, Pack, myself, Coach Palumbo, look, we're all involved in that in different ways with the offense. The thing for me, we were 0 for 2 getting guys in from third base less than two outs, and we pride ourselves on that. We don't do that, then you don't get any 2-out RBIs. Well, everything's amplified. And you got to find a way to scratch a run there. And the game is a lot different. I felt like we were going to come back and win the game. And I thought it was just going to be one of those games that you played ugly and you won. Unfortunately, we didn't, but it's a good learning experience for us.
And how frustrating is it at the end when a batter goes down looking with the bases loaded? I mean, for fans, I know that's one of their pet peeves. It's like you got to swing the bat, but I haven't been in the batter's box in that situation. How difficult is that?
Well, you want your guys to be aggressive, and Sab is Sabater, we call him Sab, is a great player, and unfortunately he didn't pull the trigger, but it wasn't because of lack of effort. It just, kind of froze him. The guy, started a two-seamer at his hip, and it ran back over the plate. And of course, after the fact, it looks like it's right down the middle, and you're like, why didn't you swing the bat? Well, it's a lot easier when you're watching it on video than when you're actually in the box. And it's easy to be critical of people when people are in the arena. And if you've never been in the arena, right, as I tell people all the time, man, it is a lonely place, buddy, especially when it doesn't go the right way. And the great ones, like Tom Brady says, learn from it, and they continue to get better, and we will.
Pirates fall in the opener. 4-3 was the final, then a doubleheader on Saturday. And you've told me for years and years how difficult doubleheaders are. You don't like to play them necessarily, and nobody really does, but because of the weather, you pretty much had to.
Yeah, for sure, and that wasn't the reason we lost the first game by any means. And, it's a part of college baseball. When you play outside, it is what it is, so to speak. And once again, I thought our guys were ready to play. We just didn't play clean enough baseball, and I thought Gavin Van Kempen was outstanding. You could see he's got really good stuff, and to go 4 innings and not give up any earned runs, he gives you a chance to win. So he was a bright spot, as some other our pitchers were. I thought Luke Payne pitched great in that game. I thought that we extended him too long just because we were trying to get another inning out of him, but for 2 innings he was outstanding. Ryan Towers coming back off the brace surgery. Of course, the baseball guys didn't do us any favors. He goes out there, he's really sharp in the first inning, and then it was like the longest half inning of, probably the weekend offensively for us. And he had pitched 3 innings in a preseason, but probably not have had to sit down for that long amount of time. And he got up and he warmed up, but he just wasn't as sharp coming back. And look, RT's going to be really good at the end of the season when he gets back to full strength, and we're excited about him.
When you dropped that second game of the series and the first game of the doubleheader, what was your message to the team going into Game 3?
I was pretty pissed because I'm tired of losing, and I think, at the end of the day, you don't care what it looks like. Your job is to win the game. And so that was kind of the message. And, hey, man, go out there and fight and you scratch and claw, and nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And, look, Xavier's playing with house money now, and they got a lot of freedom. So you got to go out there and earn it. And I thought our guys did a really good job in Game 3.
And before we go into Game 3, I really thought, Xavier came to town, and I thought they were a pretty good baseball team. I think we're going to see. But they play I think East Carolina's schedule is very difficult, but they play a crazy schedule, don't they?
They do. I'll tell you this, well coached. We knew they would be scrappy. They got their swings off. You can talk to Coach Knight. Coach Knight would tell you they were very tough to pitch to. And they had a couple of their better hitters that were actually out of the lineup. I think they're going to be a really good squad. I thought their Friday night pitcher specifically did a really good job. They had, some different looks out of the bullpen that kind of put us on our heels offensively. Well coached, man, a great job by them, and you have to give them a lot of credit. But it's a way for us to learn.
Game 3 of the series, Game 2 of the doubleheader. Pirates win it 12-5 was the final. I think you said it a little bit earlier, but Kobe Weber comes in and really pitches well to get you guys off to a good start.
Yeah, he's tremendous talent, works his tail off, and, like I said, to start out 0-2 and your first freshman start on the mound at Clark LeClaire, there's pressure, and he answered the bell, and it was great to see.
5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and you made the change defensively. Nick Parham is short. You touched on it earlier, but he really put just a defensive presence out there for East Carolina.
Well, it puts everybody back at their best defensive position, too. And, going to the weekend, you knew that we weren't going to be as strong defensively as we can be when we have the right pieces. But felt like Colby would be able to handle shortstop, and Burris had been playing a good third base. And, of course, that blew up in our face a little bit. And you, as a coach, man, you got to make adjustments. So you could see at the back end of Game 2, ran Parham out there at short to get his feet underneath him a little bit. And then, man, he played a tremendous shortstop in Game 3. And for a guy that, I have challenged at times, and I'm proud of him because it'd been very easy for him to leave and not handle this, and he didn't. He stayed here the whole time, and, man, I'm just happy for him.
Pirates with 13 hits in the game, scoring in 6 different innings, and offensively looked like Pirate baseball, didn't they?
A lot better for sure. And, I do think, though, when you're playing good defense, you got a guy on the mound, it allows the offense to not maybe feel the pressure that you're feeling when you're always behind. And getting a lead and then able to continue to extend, I thought was a big win for us.
When you look at some of the Pirate stars offensively for the weekend, even though Pirates dropped 2 out of 3, you start with Braden Burris, and man, he's just some kind of ball player, isn't he?
He is, and he's tough, and he's competitive, and the best quality is he takes it personal when it doesn't go right. Friday night he comes up to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning, 3-1 count. I don't give him take, which I probably gave him take every single time last year. And he swung at a 3-1 pitch that was a ball. Yeah. And so I brought him in, and he said, "Coach, I've replayed that pitch in my head 500 times." And I said, "That's all I need to hear, man." And I know that you learn from it when you got players in your program like that. So Braden is a leader. He's a great player, and he had a great weekend.
And it really hurt because Herring comes up right after that with the home run. And that was, because I thought the same thing. I thought he's got to get on base. He will get on base, and it's one of the rare times that he didn't.
Yeah, for sure. And look, hindsight's 20/20, but I've got to let our best players win the game. I can't always put him in a straitjacket and give him take. I mean, it could have been a fastball down the middle, and he could have doubled. You don't know. So, but Braden will learn from it, and we'll get better from it.
Jack Herring had just a great series as well. And talk about him a little bit, because you kind of bragged on him at the banquet the other night.
Guy has earned everything he's gotten. He is a tremendous worker, tremendous teammate, tremendous leader. And, man, he's worked his tail off, and, man, he's going to have a great year offensively. I mean, he had a great weekend, but he's really put together a good body of work to put himself in a really good position.
And you bragged on Grady Linehan after the series, after the doubleheader set on Saturday, just how well he played all weekend.
Yeah, I've said this a few times, going into the weekend, Grady's a special player, wanted to put him down there kind of in the bottom of the lineup a little bit just so he didn't press. And, man, after the first 2 games, I'm like, man, he's putting together as good at bats as anybody on our team, so we're going to throw him back up there in the top in the 3-hole because he had been hitting leadoff for one side a lot during our preseason scrimmages. But he played tremendous. He's a special talent and a special human, so very, very excited that he's on our team.
When you look at just the body of work for 3 games, I mean, when you go back to practice, are there things you really want to tweak, things you want to look at, or do you just kind of say, hey, take a deep breath, let's go to game 4?
Yesterday we were able to take off because you got to have an off day, and our guys got a lift in. And then we'll have a little bit of a practice today to get them back on their feet. And we've talked about the things we need to talk about with individuals and with our team to get better. And we'll go out and it won't be a long practice today, but we'll just get back out there and get ready for Campbell.
Campbell Tuesday night. When you look at that trip year in and year out, it's always a difficult assignment, isn't it?
Yeah, we historically the past couple of years have played like crap, so I'm excited about going to Bowies Creek and playing better. And the thing I keep saying this, but I think there's an edge about this team that we haven't had here, at least for the past year. And there's an edge about this team that they want to be great. So it's good that we got tested early and see how we respond to it.
And normally you play the Tuesday game at Campbell and you take the rest of the week to get ready for the weekend. But Northern Illinois comes to town. How did that game get scheduled?
They reached out and we were 1 game short, and Jeff came to me and said, hey, what do you think about, playing 2 midweek games before you go into the Carolina series? And I said, let's do it. For me, if you're a competitor, you want to play baseball, so let's go out there and play as much baseball as we can and see how we respond to having a 5-game week.
You talk about North Carolina a little bit, and obviously that's the fan favorite. They want to see East Carolina beat North Carolina. You play Friday. It's a really cool series because you play in 3 different sites. But how have you liked that series through the years?
I love it. It goes back to 2018 when Coach Fox was the head coach, and that was the first time we did it. And then, of course, we took a couple years off, and then Scott Forbes got named the head coach, and Forbes and I got together, and Forbes was like, CG, I want to do this if you're good with it. And I'm like, heck yeah, man, it's good for both our programs, but also good for the state of North Carolina. It's good for college baseball in general. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the premier programs in the country matching up, 3 different venues. They're sold out everywhere. Make sure you get your tickets all weekend, especially in Durham, because I think they're going fast as well. But it's just been a unique thing. And there's a lot, I just give Coach Forbes a lot of credit, and I've known him for a while, that he's willing to do it, because there have been, times in the past they probably don't want to do it. Right. And, it challenges both programs, and you're playing in front of big crowds, which that's what you're going to do at the end of the season as well.
Carolina swept Indiana, but Game 3 was kind of bizarre. I was going to ask you about that. Have you ever had a player, and they call it the yips, but the second baseman for Indiana had a horrible error that Indiana would have won that game, should have won that Game 3 of that series. But have you ever worked with a player with the yips?
Well, I mean, I think if you've coached college baseball long enough, you have. I mean, I think you and I's era, you're older than me, but you can remember Chuck Knobloch, and how the pressure of, once you do it, especially at Yankee Stadium, you can imagine the fans getting on you. So it sucks because it's a mental thing. It's not physical. So that Y word for baseball players is like cancer for the human beings, really, to be honest with you, because you feel like, man, this thing's gripping me. I mean, Garrett Saylor had it his freshman fall as a pitcher here, and I commend him because I'm like, oh my God, he's never going to come out of this. And the kid just kept working, and then all of a sudden, Garrett Saylor, man, he had a great career here.
Yeah, he sure did. And it's just one of those things, you feel so bad for the kid. It's all over the internet, all over social media, and it's just something when you look at it that I've never really – I remember Knobloch, and I remember some other things throughout the years. Obviously, it's a term that comes from golf, the yips, and I've certainly had those yips for sure, but it's just something odd. All right, so you're getting ready to go for the North Carolina Series, 5 big games this week. I mean, do you set goals as far as wins, losses, or you just say, hey, let's just play Pirate baseball and see what happens? And I know the answer, but what do you look at when you got 5 like that?
I love how you say, I know the answer, and then you still ask the question. So, look, we're worried about practice today, and then we're going to get on a bus tomorrow. We're going to go to Bowie's Creek, and we're going to try to play better baseball consistently than we did this weekend. And then we're going to get back on the bus. We'll come home. We'll worry about Northern Illinois, but that's the only way you can look at it. I mean, for us to look at the entirety of the thing, look, we know who's going to be starting on our rotation, so those guys will prepare for Carolina. But, I mean, everybody else, we got to be worried about Campbell.
What do you do pitching-wise as far as Campbell and Northern Illinois? Do you know yet?
For Campbell, as long as Antolik feels good, he's going to throw one inning. He's going to open it, and then it's going to be a bullpen day. Of course, you'll see Nick Moran, who you haven't seen yet. So, but it'll be a bullpen day, and then we'll regroup after Tuesday night and see who's available for Wednesday.
In the weekend series, you're looking at the same series there?
As of right now, yeah, we'll probably stick with the same rotation. I don't think there's any reason to change it. So.
I agree there for sure. Coach, thanks so much for your time. I know you're a busy man this time of the year. Certainly appreciate it. And I don't think anybody's given up on this team after watching this weekend. I think that's the joy of East Carolina baseball, is that everybody cares so much, and they really they want to carry you all the way to Omaha.
Giving up on this team. I mean, we've played 3 out of 56 regular season games. So if you have, no problem, but you'll probably get back on the ship at some point in time, because this is a really good team, and we're going to continue to get better.
It's probably going to coming up this weekend. That's head coach Cliff Godwin. We're back with more on the show for you right after this.
This is a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes. The East Carolina women's swimming and diving team returns to the pool this week when the Pirates will compete in the 2026 American Conference Swimming and Diving Championship in Greensboro. The 4-day event will run beginning tomorrow through February 21st and will be held at the Greensboro Aquatic Center. And the East Carolina women's basketball team returns to action tonight at home at 6 o'clock to take on Florida Atlantic. Tickets are $7 for adults, $4 for kids. Kim McNeil's ball club is coming off a win at Temple over the weekend behind a 19-point performance by Kennedy Fauntleroy, while the Owls enter the contest on a 3-game losing streak. East Carolina leads the series 5-1 all time and currently sits in second place in the American, having already qualified for postseason play. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers. Join us today for
big, juicy wings.
All season long at Tiebreakers.
Tiebreakers, with 2 locations in Greenville and on Railroad Street in Winterville.
At Children's Health Services, we understand the importance of your child's well-being. This is Dr. Chris Osmick, and our mission is to provide comprehensive, patient-centered health care through every stage of child development, starting the day they are born in the hospital. We are not just here to treat illnesses. We are here to partner with you on your child's health journey. Schedule an appointment today to build a brighter, healthier world for your children.
Hey everybody, this is Parker Bird. Visit our friends at Children's Health Services on Arlington Boulevard on 10th Street and at childrenshealthservices.org. Go Pirates.
Greenville Motor Company celebrating 40 years serving Greenville and Eastern North Carolina. Family owned and operated by Tommy and Brian Cook. When it comes to financing, they've got options for everyone. Over 20 lenders that can help you with no money down, competitive rates, and monthly payments that fit any budget. First-time buyer, rebuilding credit, looking for that dream upgrade, they'll help you drive away happy. Greenville Motor Company, right across from Greenville Nissan, 1000 Southwest Greenville Boulevard. DriveHereNow.com, driven by service, powered by trust. Greenville Motor Company.
Hey Pirate friends, this is Rhonda from Russell's in downtown Washington, inviting you to join us right now for our big winter clearance sale. Christmas exchanges are complete and the winter clearance sale features all ladies merchandise 50% off and men's winter merchandise 40% off. The selection is fantastic from name brands like Johnny O, Peter Millar, Duckhead, and more. The deals are great and the customer service is even better. So come see us at Russell's in downtown Washington on Main Street for great savings.
This is Mac McCarthy, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Joining us now is the Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs, does play-by-play for football, men's basketball at Campbell, does anything and everything with Campbell's athletics for sure. Good friend of ours from way back, Chris Hemeyer joins us. Chris, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Brian. Thank you so much for having me on. I hope you all are well.
Hey, everything's good here. We're trying to get Pirate baseball ready to go, 1-2 on the season, as is Campbell from this past weekend. Campbell losing 2 out of 3 to Cal Poly. So both teams trying to get back to 500. Talk about this Campbell baseball team a little bit. What are some of the strengths, some of the weaknesses, that kind of thing, Chris?
Yeah, it is so different, as you know, Brian. You've seen it done in so many different sports. When you are rebuilding a program, and that's what Campbell has had to do a little bit with their baseball team, and it was a good rebuild, right? Justin Hare, the coach that was here and got this team to 5 straight regional appearances, 3 regional finals, and a top 15 national ranking. He went on to go back home to Ohio and went to Ohio State, and a former assistant of his that was at Purdue came, and as you know, with the transfer portal, when there is a coaching change, whether it was under good circumstances or not, before you know who the coach is, everybody jumps in the portal, and that's what Campbell dealt with last year. They were still able to put together a pretty decent team, but injuries really got to them. Ended up 15-12 in the conference, in the top third of the conference, but did not make the conference, did not make the NCAA tournament. It is night and day, literally. Head coach Chris Marks in his second year, he said after this first weekend that Campbell was very competitive against a really good Cal Poly team that won 43 games and went to a regional final last year, returns everybody. He said it is night and day, the difference of what he saw on the field and at the plate and on the mound from his team this year compared to last year. And he told me a big difference is he had a month to recruit by the time he got in place at Campbell 2 years ago, and this year he had a whole year. So he returns guys, 75% of pretty much all his hitting. He has some pitchers that have transferred in. He's got some pitchers that are finally healthy, and this is a team that's going to compete for a conference title in the CAA and then hopefully get back to the NCAA tournament.
You know, of late, Campbell has had East Carolina's number, winning 5 in a row in this series. And we just talked to Cliff Godwin. It's always a difficult assignment. The weather is always the same. It seems like for this game, it's overcast, it's cold. Sometimes you get a little rain. I don't think there's any rain in the forecast, but it's really tough when you go down to Bowies Creek this early in the season, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and credit again with Coach Godwin and ECU. I remember I asked him a couple of years ago. I'm like, you know, Campbell's had your number a couple of years. It's always pretty competitive. Why do you keep coming back? And he said, you know, the big reason is Campbell is a team that you're going to meet in the NCAA tournament. Maybe a team that comes from a different conference that you're not used to, that plays ball a different way. And also, he said, and quite frankly, it's hard to get somebody the first week of the season and the last week of the season to play midweek, and you guys are 90 minutes away. It has become a fun rivalry, and I think what we've seen in this game a lot, particularly from ECU, is Cliff uses this game for all the guys that he didn't see pitch but wants to see pitch but didn't get to go in the opening weekend. He likes to see pitch in this game. I think he told us yesterday when we met with him getting ready for the broadcast that this is going to be a game where he's going to do it by bullpen. He'll have a starter that's in there on a pitch count for 1 inning and go from there. I think this is a game that you'll see Campbell do a similar thing because Campbell finally has some pitching depth on the mound. So they have a handful of guys that they haven't seen from the weekend. And as he told us as well, and you know, it's so great and refreshing talking to Cliff and Campbell's head coach Chris Marks was the same way, saying, you know, it's baseball season. This isn't football. 2 losses do not eliminate you from the conference title or the NCAA tournament. We are trying to figure out what we have right now, and games like this are really, really good to do that. As you know, ECU went 1-2 against a pretty good Xavier team that a lot of people didn't know about, and Campbell played Cal Poly that nobody knows about here on the East Coast, but Cal Poly is a mid-major power from the West Coast that, like I said, won 43 games, made it to a regional final last year, and pretty much returns everybody. The one win that Campbell got on Friday, they beat their preseason All-American pitcher. So I think both coaches, from talking to them yesterday, even though they would have loved to won the series, they knew that they were competitive, and in Campbell's spot, that they were really competitive against the team that went to the NCAA tournament, and that's a really, really good sign for this Campbell team.
Talking with Chris Hemeyer down at Campbell. Now, you mentioned the broadcast a little bit. It's not going to be on my favorite station, but I do want people to be able to watch the Pirates and the Campbells tonight, 5 o'clock start. Talk a little bit about that situation and where people can see it in Greenville.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Brian. It is at the other station across the street, WITN 5.2. It'll be on their MyTV channel, which is on a lot of the cable channels in the area. Flow College is what the CAA streaming platform is. A lot of people might not be familiar with it, and Flow College, I can tell you a lot of good things about it. I can tell some things why it's not as great as ESPN or ESPN Plus, but the one really good thing about it is they allow us to go to local stations in the state and in the region, and they can pick up some of our games. So we have had a really good relationship and the ability that we've gotten some football, some basketball games on, and now we'll have 7 baseball and 3 softball games on, including the big one when the Pirates come to town, and we'll have Campbell and Pirates softball on that station too next month.
Yeah, and that's always a good chance, for Pirate fans to try and track down where they can see it. At this day and age, you really have to have an encyclopedia almost, and some kids don't even know what they are anymore. But you have to Google something to figure out, is it on ESPN Plus? Is it on Flow Sports? Just how to find it. But this is a little bit easier, and I know that's a great situation for Pirate fans to be able to watch today's game, 5 o'clock start time. Talking with Chris Hemeyer. Well, when you look at just what Campbell does down there athletically, I've always been amazed because that's got to be a difficult sell to recruits, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, it has taken some coaches that have fully bought in. I'll tell you, Brian, when they built this baseball program, and remember, before the 2014 season, Campbell baseball had just been to the NCAA tournament once. Now, working on 6 times in the NCAA tournament in the last 10 years. And they had a couple of coaches, first with Greg Goff, who is now the head coach at Purdue, and then Justin Hare, who is now the head coach at Ohio State, that they had the philosophy of, we are not going to shy away from the fact that there ain't a lot going on in Bowie's Creek in the weekends. We're not going to shy away from the fact of if you want to go to the club after a game, you're going to have to drive a little bit for it. They recruited guys that wanted to come here, get better at baseball, and again get a chance to have a great college career and even go on to the professional ranks. And what has really helped them to back up that statement is they have had 15 draft picks in the last 10 years, and for a school the size of Campbell, just 3,000 undergrad now, that's really saying something. But then they have had guys like Zach Neto, who is a star for the LA Angels, the starting shortstop there that was with Campbell his whole career. Cedric Mullins, who came out of junior college, was here from 1 year, and then, of course, an all-star career from him. Ryan Thompson is a guy that you might not be too familiar with, but if you're a Major League fan, he's pitched in 2 World Series as a reliever, and he is one of the main arms to come out of the Arizona Diamondbacks pen. He's over half a decade in the major leagues now. So they are bringing guys not only here to Bowie's Creek, but they're making promises of making them better, and they're putting them on to the major leagues. Campbell had 6 total former Camels make it to the major leagues last year and pitch in one form and fashion, and all of those except 2 were guys that spent their entire career here at Campbell.
Yeah, I know. As a former local sportscaster, that makes everything so much better because the consultants and the news directors don't exactly want you to give baseball scores from Major League Baseball, but they do like the fact that local players that are in the majors, and we get a chance, with Gavin Williams and Alec Burleson and what Trey Savage did in the playoffs, and Connor Norby. We've got Clayton McCullough, who's a former Rose Star, as a manager of the Marlins. We've got all kinds of connections as well in the major leagues, and it just makes our job, it makes the summers go by faster because you get a chance to watch these guys playing in the majors, and that's a big thrill. I know it has to be for you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely right, and it sells what you're teaching. Not only do you go to ECU and you're going to get a chance to play for a conference tournament, you're going to play a conference championship, you're going to play for some big teams, you're going to play in front of some great crowds, and you're going to have a chance to go to a regional or a super regional or hopefully Omaha. Campbell about 10 years behind where ECU is in baseball, but they're able to promise the same thing, right? Because in the area, you're playing the ECUs, you're playing the North Carolinas, you're playing the NC State. Next week, Campbell's midweek game will be Coastal Carolina. And so when you can say, hey, we're going to bring people here, it's going to be a big time experience, and you have a chance to go to the major leagues, it's been really, really fun. And I say that again. I mean, Campbell had 2 major league starters last year on some pretty good teams from a school of 3,000 in little old Buies Creek, North Carolina. I mean, that's saying something.
Pirates headed to Buies Creek, North Carolina, coming up. 5 o'clock start for East Carolina and Campbell. Campbell has won the last 5. East Carolina leads the all-time series 56-29. So this will be the 86th all-time meeting between East Carolina and Campbell. We'll take a commercial break right now. We'll come back with more with Chris Hemeyer down at Campbell after this.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you're looking to make someone's day a little sweeter, Nothing Bundt Cakes has the perfect treat. From our bite-sized buntinis to our delicious 8 and 10-inch Bundt Cakes, every cake is baked fresh daily and topped with our signature cream cheese frosting. Birthdays, celebrations, office treats, or just because. There's always a reason for a Bundt Cake. Come see us in Greenville in the Law Promenade Shopping Center near Longhorn and let us help you share a little joy, one Bundt at a time. Nothing Bundt Cakes. Make life a little sweeter every day.
When it comes to building or remodeling your home, every detail matters. Hi, this is Kathy Herring with KDL Construction, and we believe great design begins with careful planning and ends with flawless execution. With open communication and a true partnership mindset, we guide you through every step, turning your vision into reality. Our goal, to deliver more than a building project. We create an experience that is seamless, stress-free, and inspiring. Visit KDLConstructionLLC.com to start your transformation today. KDL Construction, your vision, our craft.
Imagine the fun, boating and fishing with your family. Come find the boat of your dreams at the Greenville Boat Show and Sale this weekend at the Greenville Convention Center. Free parking, free admission for kids under 12. Hundreds of boats on display along with all your local dealers. It's more than a boat show, it's a boat sale. Imagine the fun, boating and fishing with your family. Come find the boat of your dreams at the Greenville Boat Show and Sale this weekend at the Greenville Convention Center. Free parking, free admission for kids under 12. Hundreds of boats on display along with all your local dealers. It's more than a boat show, it's a boat sale.
After years in the making, the new Papa John's Pan Pizza recipe is ready. Introducing a new pan pizza with edge-to-edge cheese and toppings, a crispy garlic Parmesan crust, and 6 cheeses. It's the perfect balance of a soft, fluffy interior dough and a crispy crust. You'll agree this pan pizza was worth the wait. Order the new pan pizza today from your local Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Are you tired of dealing with IT headaches? Does this sound familiar? Slow computers, constant crashes, long wait times for IT support, and worries about cybersecurity. If you're nodding your head, it's time to call cybersharks.net. We handle IT so you can focus on growing your business. Fast, reliable, and always there when you need us. Call 321-7800 today and get IT support that actually works. Cybersharks.net. We keep your business swimming.
This is former ECU football player Bryce Williams, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show, Talking Campbell with Chris Hemeyer, who is the Senior Associate AD for External Affairs, does all kinds of play-by-play, football, basketball, baseball, that kind of thing. He arrived at Campbell in 2011. We met when he was at WCTI, and I want to say, you know, in our business, we're all competitive, and we're trying to beat 12, trying to beat 7, they're trying to beat us, and it goes like that. But every once in a while, you get a guy in there that's just a nice guy, and the guys here now are pretty nice. But Hemeyer's on a different scale as far as nice. Hemeyer was always one of the super nice guys, so we certainly appreciated you way back then. And you spent some time with the Kinston Indians back in the day, and glad you're doing so well at Campbell.
Hey, Brian, thank you so much, and again, congratulations to everything that you built there. But I tell people all the time about my time in local news. Thank you for the compliments, but man, there were a lot of nice guys working there. Brian Meador, that's when I first
there you go.
met him. He was working for you at that time. He is still one of the nicest guys that I have ever met.
You just don't know him well enough. I'm telling you, you just don't know him well. No, he's a great guy. I'm getting ready to go meet with him as soon as we finish this interview, so I'll tell him you said that.
Yeah, please do. And we had the two Brians there and Billy's there, and it just says something to the fact that you guys, you and Brian North have stuck around there so long, because I tell people all the time, it is a quote-unquote small market, but wow, do you get to cover a lot of great things. I mean, first and foremost, ECU, it's been great to see how that place has grown and how they've become a major player and just all the great things going on there. And then the high school sports are unbelievable there, and the passion and how they follow their prep basketball and their prep football and their prep baseball as well. I mean, it's one of the best areas in the country for metal bat baseball, because they really, really care whether it's the Little League City Championship or the high school state playoffs. But then, as you know, Brian, you have to drive an hour and a half or 2 hours, but then you're covering ACC and single teams, and you're covering hockey, you're covering Major League Baseball, and you go a little farther the other way, and you can cover NBA basketball and NFL football. I mean, I was there in the sports department for a couple of years, but I had a resume tape which is obsolete at the time. I didn't even have a link to send anybody, but I had stuff that I covered that looked like I worked in a big market for 10 years, and it has still been that way. And the sports have just gotten better. I mean, it's been so much fun, and I don't have to tell you how awesome of a place it is. Yet at the same time, traffic ain't too bad, and you go in a restaurant and people know your name, and the fans that you've made relationships with, and I still have friendships with to this day. It's a really, really friendly place with a lot of great stuff going on.
It really is. A funny story about being a local sportscaster. In last night's sportscast, I kid you not, when you write your scripts and you get it all done, and you go back and look at it, but the more you do it, the more you kind of just glance at it. So I was trying to tell the story that the East Carolina women had a big win over the Temple Owls, and coming up this weekend, they've got a huge game with the undefeated Rice Owls. But in between, they've got a key game that they can't overlook, the Florida Atlantic Owls. And when I finished reading all that, I didn't know which owl was which. I mean, it was one of those comical moments that you don't even see coming until you start reading it. Then all of a sudden, it's like, man, I hope somebody followed that, because I'm not quite sure I did.
It's amazing, isn't it? Also, too, as you know, being in local TV and covering local sports, you always have you always have those moments. Some people do and some people don't. I remember about a year and a half in, when you're getting pretty confident, I know how to do this. I've got everything. And it was back in the day where, Brian, as you know this, if you wanted to show highlights on the air, you had to edit them, and each highlight was on a different tape, and so you had about 7 to 8 tapes per show. And I got back there and I got in my seat, and somebody whispers in my ear that I forgot to bring the tapes back. So I sprint from the studio one side to another and bring back all of these tapes, and it got on, and nobody knows the difference on there, but it's one of those nights that go down in your memory, right?
It really does. And I think back to when we used to do tapes, I'd have nightmares. I'd wake up in a cold sweat when somebody had whispered in my ear. I think my wife would do that just to aggravate me, say your tapes aren't back. But now, obviously, everything's digital. You send it to the show through a server. It's completely changed. And the one thing that I will say through now, it'll be 42 years in October, is that you have to adjust to how everything changes. And you can't, and in some ways I haven't adjusted, but in most ways, you have to adjust, and you have to get a guy like Zach Kaplan who knows everything about everything. I don't think you've met Zach yet. When you meet him, you'll know exactly who he is, because you won't be able to get a word in edgewise, but he's a great guy. One of the best I've had as an assistant here at Channel 9. And we thought about sending him down, but I've got to get him a day off. I think he's still going to go to State Carolina tonight, so he's going to be out and about doing something. But I tell you, just being a local sportscaster has been something for me, and there's so many stories that you get a chance to tell. And then as you get closer to retirement, and I don't know when that's going to be for me, but I think back and I think, would I be able to adjust to not doing the 11 o'clock? And the more I do it, the more I'm thinking, I could probably adjust to not doing the 11, because it is late at night, and sometimes you're wondering, how many people are actually up watching this sportscast right now, right?
Well, and if you think about, Brian, how many miles that we put on the car. At the time I worked at WCTI in New Bern, and that was where the main station was and everything like that. So obviously we were in Greenville a ton, because you are in Greenville for everything ECU's playing and that. But that was back at a time when internet was a little sketchy. You couldn't just file your report or set up live without a big live truck and a big expense from where you were. So you would go somewhere, you would shoot hopefully the whole game, get some stuff, and then you would literally book it back to the station, because you had to do everything there to physically get it on air. There are a couple of very understanding North Carolina state troopers that were not happy and made me sweat a little bit. But when you explained to them that you had some hot ECU highlights that just had to be on the 11 o'clock news, most of the time they would let you go. But I think of what we did there and putting together those Friday night football shows when you're trying to get scores from people, because they're not on everybody's X accounts, Facebook pages, and you're calling the local Hardee's in Swansboro to try to see if they know what the score is, and then you're relying on somebody to drive all the way back through traffic to put together 20 seconds worth. If people ever knew, it was the funnest job in the world, but I said you will never work more hours and have more pressure on you in your entire life. So I learned a whole lot, but it's pretty nice that tonight I'll get to be in the booth for the whole game, and I won't have to worry about after the game running highlights all the way back to New Bern. But because of technology, we'll be able to get some highlights together from the broadcast and send them to you, Brian.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate that. It's funny you said about the state trooper, because about this time last year, I stayed at the Pirate basketball game late and got the interviews, and I was driving back on Greenville Boulevard. This guy says he got me going 67 and a 45. Now, I've still said I wanted to go to court and fight it, but I ended up getting it reduced and everything. But you can't go 67 on Greenville Boulevard. There's too many red lights. I mean, I don't know what he was saying, but he was an old guy, and he did not. He was not. He must have been a fan of Channel 12 and Brian North, because he was not a fan of Brian Bailey. And he wrote me that ticket. I was so mad, but I have gotten out of a few through the years. But you're exactly right as far as that goes. All right, let's wrap things up talking about Campbell. What kind of baseball game do you expect tonight? I'll tell you one thing I expect. I expect it to be cold, and I expect it to be a long game with everybody throwing out the bullpen.
Yeah, thank goodness for the pitch clock. Speaking of some things that have come on and helped, I think both of these teams, speaking to both these coaches, they think these are the best teams. And you've talked to Cliff a lot, and I don't know if you've had him on the show yet or going to have him, but he thinks this is the deepest team on both sides of the ball that he has ever had. And that's saying something, because you know how good these teams are. And for Campbell, this is a team that that thinks that they can get back to the NCAA tournament, and I believe it from what I saw this weekend. So it's interesting because you know, sometimes you're fiddling with lineups, and we're going to see a lot of different pitchers. But I tell you what, something tells me this is going to be close. And both of these teams, especially after last weekend, boy, would it be great to be 2-2 with a good midweek win.
That's exactly right. The Pirates will come back and take on Northern Illinois coming up on Wednesday, and then of course the battle with North Carolina. Game 1 of the Carolina series is in Greenville. Game 2 in the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, and then Game 3 at Boshamer Stadium. And that's kind of a cool 3-game series for East Carolina, isn't it?
It's really, really cool. So cool, Brian, that we had the idea when we went on the Campbell Coaches Caravan and went back to Granger Stadium. I've floated it to our head coach Chris Marks. The next time you're talking to Cliff, ask him about this. What if we make this a 3-game series, and sometime in the middle of April we have a midweek game at Kinston? So you get the game at the end of the year at Clark LeClaire, you get the first game of the year up here at Jim Perry Stadium, and then in the middle you let everybody go back to Granger Stadium. With those that haven't seen it, they have really upfitted it. There's a new video board. It's still a historic stadium, but really, really nice to see. That would be fun next year, don't you think?
I think so. And you think about that, or you could go to the new Wilson ballpark, because I hear great things about that park.
Yeah, that's supposed to be great too. I mean, there's a lot of options around, and again, these games are so much fun for the fans, and back and forth, and especially Campbell had put a little juice into it with a 5-game win streak there. I think that would be fun. We'll both talk to our people and hopefully not get pulled over by a state trooper. Make it happen, right?
Get your people to get with my people, and we'll see if Cliff and them can work everything out. All right, Chris, have a great broadcast tonight. Thanks so much for your time. We certainly appreciate it, and it was great talking to you.
Hey, Brian, thank you so much for having us on. Hey to everybody back in Eastern North Carolina, and say hi to Shirley for me.
Will do. Shirley's waving right now. Get on the mic. Say hey, Shirley.
Hey, Mar.
Great to hear from you. Thank you all for having me on. You're the best.
All right, Chris Hemeyer joining us. We'll take our final commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show for you right after this.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
At Children's Health Services, we understand the importance of your child's well-being. This is Dr. Chris Osmick, and our mission is to provide comprehensive, patient-centered health care through every stage of child development, starting the day they are born in the hospital. We are not just here to treat illnesses. We are here to partner with you on your child's health journey. Schedule an appointment today to build a brighter, healthier world for your children.
Hey everybody, this is Parker Bird. Visit our friends at Children's Health Services on Arlington Boulevard on 10th Street and at childrenshealthservices.org. Go Pirates.
You've had your new computer a few years now, but lately it's been running super slow, acting strange, and you're worried about viruses and losing data.
This is driving me mad!
Let the experts at University PC Care in Greenville and New Bern professionally diagnose your Mac or PC to see what's really going on. They'll determine the root cause and not just symptoms, so you don't waste money fixing the wrong issues. Call 252-558-1280 for in-store or remote service, or make an appointment online at universitypccare.com.
Looking for the perfect getaway? Discover Washington, North Carolina, where small town charm meets waterfront adventure. Stroll along the scenic waterfront, explore unique shops and local restaurants, or kayak the Pamlico River at sunset.
From family fun to romantic escapes, Washington has something for everyone. Plan your next trip today at visitwashingtonnc.com and experience why they call it the original Washington.
Visit us in Washington. Your escape starts here.
College is hectic, but where you live shouldn't be. At Pirates Cove, you get your own quiet space and private bathroom. With 2 pools, a fitness center, EV chargers, the only student property with a new soccer mini pitch field, a business room for focus, and a quick ride to campus. No dorms, no drama, just the lifestyle you're looking for. Pirates Cove isn't just where you stay, it's where you live.
Hey Pirate Nation, are you in the market for a member-focused local credit union or making a switch from your existing one? Then explore First Flight Credit Union with branches across eastern North Carolina where all residents are membership eligible. First Flight members experience in-person service, competitive savings, and loan rates. Everything from automobile, boat, and home loans, First Flight has you covered. First Flight is more than just a branch. They're on a mission to take better care of our community. Stop by one of their local branches today or visit efirstflight.com. First Flight is insured by the NCUA and an equal housing lender.
This is Wyatt Lunsford Shankman. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show as we wrap up this edition of The Brian Bailey Show. There is all kinds of things to do this week as far as East Carolina athletics. The women play tonight at 6 against Florida Atlantic, those Owls, before they take on Rice, the other set of Owls, and not the third set of Owls that Temple Owls are. So there you go. We got all kinds of Owls coming up for the women. The men take on Wichita State on Wednesday. Lacrosse has Elon on the weekend. Softball has UNCW midweek, and then JMU, St. Bonnie, and Towson. Of course, East Carolina Pirate Baseball. East Carolina at Campbell tonight, hosting NIU Wednesday, and then the 3-game series at Clark LeClaire Friday, Saturday in Durham, Sunday in Chapel Hill. 10th ranked North Carolina and East Carolina. I want to thank Cliff Godwin for joining us tonight, and thank Chris Hemeyer for being with us on this Tuesday. We'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Bojangles, Bostic Sugg, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, DriveHereNow.com, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
Join